The wastelands of Fallout are filled with tales of dauntless heroes arising in a time of need, Pip-Boy on their wrist and wearing a blue jumpsuit that looks just a little bit too uncomfortable. But besides their rather interesting taste in post-apocalyptic attire, these individuals all have one other thing in common. They rise out of relative obscurity, have a massive impact on their own little corner of the wasteland, then seemingly fade into obscurity. So where do they go? Is there some luxurious retirement home that these warriors of the wasteland are wheeled off to? Or do these brave vault dwellers and one very angry courier go off to have more adventures, face down new mutant threats, and rush off to another settlement in need of help? Now, of course, ultimately the fate of these protagonists is decided by the path each of them has been taken on, be it them happily ruling the Las Vegas Strip alongside Yes Man, or awkwardly trying to fix their friendship with Sarah Lyons after you insisted that no, she should be the one who goes into that lethally radioactive Project Purity control room.
So, what should we do? Draw straws? So that's how it is? So much for chivalry.
But besides these somewhat flexible endings, what else can we gather from small mentions and hints scattered around the wasteland about the fates of our heroes? Or join us here today at Lore Tours as we take a look at what happened to the heroes of Fallout. Kicking off our list is the crazy black sheep of the Fallout protagonist family, the Courier. After rolling into the Mojave wasteland fresh from accidentally blanketing the settlements of the Divide in atomic fire, our hero was promptly shot in the head. Not one to let something as trivial as a bullet in the brain get in their way, this angry mailman set about retrieving their package and plunging themselves directly into the heart of a war for the Mojave, one fought by the NCR, Caesar's Legion, and Mr. House. The Courier's eventual fate really depends on which of these groups they sided with. If they went with democracy and sided with the NCR, we know that the Courier was made a hero of the New Californian Republic and awarded the Golden Branch, the highest honors available to a civilian. They could have been minted on some form of currency, and potentially they lived out the rest of their days in Shady Sands, paying those oh-so-important NCR taxes, and maybe, just maybe, they perished when Shady Sands fell to an atomic bomb. Had the Courier chosen the tyranny and slavery of Caesar's Legion, their fate is pretty similar, with the Legion minting a new gold coin with their likeness upon it, then distributing it amongst the Legion's territories. Should they side with Mr. House, the Courier is afforded a life of luxury in the Lucky 38, and served as a loyal right, and I guess left-hand man for the big ol' screen Mr. House, ensuring that New Vegas remains secure for future generations. And if Yes Man is sided with, then, well, it's pretty much the same, except the Courier, in place of Mr. House, becomes the new CEO of the Free Economic Zone of New Vegas. But no matter the path the Courier followed leading up to the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, they at some point returned to the Big Empty Research Facility, and depending on their karma, they either ruled over it as an evil overlord, using the cutting-edge science to further their own quest for power, or they watched over the facility as a guardian, keeping its discoveries safe and releasing technologies into the wasteland to help where needed. The original Vault Dweller, hailing from Vault 13, is actually the protagonist whose fate we arguably know the most about. After defeating the Master and his super mutant army, the Vault Dweller was exiled from their home of Vault 13 to prevent the spread of outside influences. Following this, they took a group of fellow Vault 13 dwellers and travelled north, eventually founding the tribal village of Arroyo in southwest Oregon. From here, they would serve as village elder, teaching the fellow Vault Dwellers and any wastelanders they picked up on their travels how to hunt, farm, and survive in the wasteland. The Dweller married a fellow Vault 13 resident named Pat and had multiple sons and daughters who would take up leadership of the tribe when, years after its founding, the Vault Dweller, age 67, would take off into the desert, and that's the end of the official story. There are, however, rumors from the Texas wasteland that a wandering stranger, a Vault Dweller who claims to have defeated the Master no less, rolled into the town of Carbon, Texas, where they subsequently helped repel a raider attack on the town and defeat a local supermutant warlord. Sometime after the Vault Dweller left Arroyo, their grandchild, known as the Chosen One, would rise up and become a hero of the wasteland, retrieving a Garden of Eden creation kit to save their village, and defeating the evil remnant of the pre-war government, the Enclave. Following the destruction of the Enclave and rescuing the inhabitants of Arroyo and Vault 13, the Chosen One used the Garden of Eden creation kit to establish New Arroyo, becoming the village's leader, guiding its development and ensuring the prosperity of its people. We also know that the Chosen One might have had a child who would have become a powerful mob figure in the city of New Reno. In their dealings with the Bishop crime family of New Reno, the Chosen One potentially impregnates either Leslie Ann Bishop, the wife of mob boss John Bishop, or their daughter, Angela. This child would prove to have little in common with the Bishops, despising their politicking and instead preferring to spend their days exploring the wastes. Until, at age 13, this son took control of the family business, had a daughter of his own, and led the Bishops to victory over the other crime families of New Reno. Now, events in Appalachia are currently still being monitored, so we're not 100% sure what happens to the Vault dwellers of Vault 76, or the Appalachian region itself, although you could theorize that due to the high levels of skilled, intelligent Vault dwellers in the region, all with access to almost pristine pre-war technology, the region should have over the next couple hundred years played a bigger role in the rest of the wasteland, certainly in the east of the country. So given that we barely even hear a whisper about the region in the Boston Commonwealth or Capital Wasteland, it might be safe to assume that the region and its Vault dwellers were all destroyed. Maybe in a nuclear winter triggered by the copious amounts of atomic weapons in the area. The sole survivor of Vault 111 is next up, and like the Courier, their fate is partially decided by who they side with during their adventures in the Commonwealth. If the Brotherhood of Steel is chosen, the sole survivor aids in eradicating the Institute and the Railroad, likely ascending the ranks within the Brotherhood, embracing a doctrine that seeks to control and hoard technology to prevent misuse. If supporting the Institute, the sole survivor takes on the role of director within the organization. They work to advance the Institute's vision of progress through technology, and the elimination of opposing factions to secure the Institute's dominance in the Commonwealth. If you're one of the two people who actually sided with the Railroad, then the sole survivor commits to the honorable goal of liberating simps from the Institute's control, and creating a commonwealth where simps can live free. If the Minutemen are aligned with, then the sole survivor unites the settlements of the Commonwealth as general of the Minutemen, guarding the wasteland with their citizen militia until the sole survivor dies from exhaustion brought about running between settlements in need of aid. Now for the Lone Wanderer of Vault 101. We know they did activate Project Purity and defeat the Enclave alongside the Brotherhood of Steel. It's remarked years later by individuals in the Commonwealth that the water of the Capital Wasteland is indeed pure and drinkable. The Wanderer didn't stick around with the Brotherhood for long after though, and many of their friends within the Brotherhood, including Elder Lyons and his daughter Sarah, would perish not long after, paving the way for the rise of Arthur Maxson. By 2297, some 20 years after the Lone Wanderer first left Vault 101, their friend Moira Brown had begun writing a new book based on the many exploits of the Lone Wanderer, claiming that while they disappeared at some point in the last 2 decades, and nobody could agree on the Wanderer's name, what they looked like, or even their gender, everyone had a tall tale and a crazy story to tell about the hero from Vault 101. We'll probably never know where the Lone Wanderer went off to. Maybe they're flying amongst the stars with a cowboy and a samurai aboard Mothership Zeta, or perhaps they made their way out to the west coast and took up a job as a mailman. But the fact that they have faded into local legend perfectly sums up what happens to these heroes. They disappear, become myth, remembered more for the astonishing feats they accomplish than the man or woman that they actually were. What do you think happened to the heroes of Fallout? Let us know down in the comments and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to join us again soon. Until then, catch you next time.